All right, here we go. It's another installment of Ozzy and Keats. John Keating here at the Outside Ales Tap Room in Grand Haven, where I now reside. Chris Osgood there at his estate in suburban Detroit. We're not great. We are just okay, and we're brought to you through the help of our friends at Podcast Nation in Troy, Michigan. And we're going to be joined on this episode by one of our favorite people, Herman Moore, the former Detroit Lions great wide receiver who's done great work still in town, will join us on the Ozzy and Keats podcast, and so many memories attached to the football playing days at the Silverdome. And we were just sharing this. The Silverdome was a very special place, wasn't it, Ozzy?
Everybody has memories of that, don't they? Unless they're too young, but God, that thing had a lot of character. Pretty simple building, though, wasn't it?
Well, you went through the door and you got whooshed in. You remember that big blast of air when you?
Yeah. It was a unique facility for sure. I think I only went to maybe one Lions game there. It was a Monday night game against the 49ers. So that was my only outing there with Draper and Darren McCarty.
How did the evening go for Draper and Darren McCarty and Chris Osgood that night?
Well, it was better than when I went to the Green Bay game at the Ford Field, but we'll get to that another day.
No.
You ever go to a football game and not see the second half? I'll put it that way.
We got plenty of time on this podcast. You want to share the Ford Field story? As long as we're...
Yeah, poor Drapes, who you had on here, was babysitting me again. But yeah, we go to the game and we get these field passes and we're all fired up, and they're playing San Francisco, Steve Young, Jerry Rice. They got all their guys, and that's when their heyday. And it was a great game. The Lions ended up winning on a late field goal. It was a great game. So we go down there after. Drapes and I, we lost Darren McCarty. We didn't know where he was. So we go in the room because I was a Seahawks junkie still. So Dave Craig, remember, he'd come to the Lions. So I went in and met him, and we're fooling around. Probably shouldn't have been doing it, but throwing balls around the room. We lost McCarty. We didn't know where he was. Well, Darren thought it was okay for him to go in and have a full conversation or dissertation about how the game went with Wayne Fonts, the coach of the Lions. We go to the PR guy, comes up to us, Darren's in the coach's room. You guys should probably go get him. It's like, at the end of the night when that guy said too much to drink in the bar, your friends kind of had too many. You should probably take them home. And Mac was in there with Wayne Fonts, like Mac had played linebacker, because whenever we did anything, Darren was all in. Whether it was like singing for Grindr, going to a bare naked ladies concert, going to anything we did, Darren was all in. And of course, he had to go to the coach's room and just go over probably plays and how the game went and all that stuff. And he's kicked back in his chair, just right back, like he's just played linebacker for the Lions. It was the best. And there's a Wayne Fonts sitting across from him. Shouldn't have been in there.
And here comes the PR guy, says, if you care about your friend at all, you should go in there and take him out. If you care about your friend at all.
Yeah, it was like, we don't mind that he went in there, but he's still in there talking to Wayne about the game. Wayne's trying to relax after the game. It was a huge win.
All right. Herman Moore will share his own Silverdome stories with us in just a few moments here on Ozzy and Keats. I have some questions for you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, as always.
What are the unwritten rules at our workplace?
At ours?
The workplace being the Ozzy and Keats podcast. You and me. Yes, our workplace, not that the big time TV gig that you have aside from this.
For us, like on our show?
Yeah.
I didn't think there was any rules. There is.
Well, that's like part of the problem. That's part of the problem, that maybe we need some written rules, because the unwritten rules aren't being
would one
paid
be
any
like
attention to.
Be on time, have your technology.
There you go. Have your device ready to start. How about that?
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Both you and I have been on the struggle bus with that, though. You had an issue earlier in the year at your house, so that made you go to the bar to do the show now.
Yes.
So I'm thinking that was just a total setup to start. But it doesn't work. I have internet at my house.
I found Wi-Fi.
As you're cutting cords and you're pulling things out of the fruit. I got to do it at the bar. Okay.
You got to do what you got to do.
But it is
like,
great.
I know they'll welcome me down at the bar because they have Wi-Fi. That'll be fine.
But it's worked out that you're there. I said it before. People from that have relations to people at the bar. I think even the owner where you're at, they come and talk to me at the rink all the time now. So it's good that
All
you're
right.
they're on the map and they're putting you on the map.
Yeah.
There you
What's
go.
what's your favorite smell?
My favorite smell. I don't
Clean it up.
I
Clean it up.
don't smoke them. But I like the smell of cigars, but I don't smoke them. I have friends that do on the golf course or have before, but I tried one once and I didn't feel I wasn't running 100%.
Yeah, I like the smell of a cigar, but I'm not a smoker at all either. So
Love the smell though. I really do.
yeah, okay. I mean, not freshly baked bread or a great pizza.
Smell of freshly cut grass though. Like if you cut
That's
your
not
lawn,
bad.
or if
Yeah.
you get up and you're like the second tee time off in the morning at the golf course and you get that smell of the grass that's just been cut by the mowers. I like that smell.
Do you cut your own grass? No, you've got staff people to do that for you, don't you?
No, I cut it. I have a mower and it's been damaged a lot. I was good. I had the old John Deere steering wheel, right? And then I went
Yeah.
to the what do you call it? The I don't know the name, but I can't forget what it's called. Almost ripped. I ripped that one right over top of the gutters, demolished those things. Got a few golf balls because the kids shoot golf balls. So flew a few of those once. I haven't put a rock through a window yet. Knock on wood. That hasn't happened yet. But the zero turn mowers. You know what those are, right? You got
Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
This quicker. So yeah,
I think everybody's had a rock go shooting out the side of it into the house and denting the siding at least and hopefully not a window,
I like doing it. I like doing it, but I do now because I tried to, I crunched the numbers. If I bought my fertilizer, bought the little thing you push where it shoots out the whatever you call it,
fertilizer spreader.
yeah. So I just hired True Green to do it. And my grass looks good, and I saved money because by the time I did it all, screwed it up or did it right or did whatever, put too much on or spilt it and burnt the grass, it was worth me just getting a professional to do it. So they do it. But I cut grass, do the weeds, I do the mulch, I do all that stuff.
Do you want to launch a live read to support your support of True Green? Maybe get them on as a sponsor. Is that pretty much what you're doing here to get a deal from True Green by mentioning them on the podcast?
For once, I'm putting more time into the show than you. you
yeah. Yeah. And if anybody's out there and would like to sponsor the Ozzy and Keats podcast, go to the website. We'd love we're open. We have some people, but we're open to your particular business. We would love to do it. And to have Chris Osgood do a live read on a podcast is as good as it gets, really. I mean, that would be
I did
sensational.
Highlights last year. That was a highlight of my year last year.
You did. Yes, you nailed it. You nailed it. What's your secret talent?
That I used to be really good at Call of Duty. Does that count?
I don't know that I would do a lot of bragging about that, but yeah, how good were you? Were you,
really good when I was, well, that's like, now I don't want to date myself, but that's like Call of Duty 1, 2, and 3. Since then I haven't played, so the young kids out there wouldn't know. But my secret talent, I honestly, I just mentioned it. I'm a pretty good basketball player. Like if play me in horse, I got some trick moves under the leg.
Yeah.
Can't slam at basketball, but I can. My fadeaway jumpers to die for. I mean, just fantastic. So I'm a really good horse player in basketball.
Okay.
My record is probably not what the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Washington Generals is, but it's pretty darn good. I beat a guy that played high school basketball. He came to my house. He actually is my trainer now. I beat him in a game of horse. I came flying off my boards in my rink. Like I'm on my boards, okay? Standing up.
Yeah, right.
Jump off. Fading away jumper. Nothing but net. He couldn't believe it that I beat him.
Wow.
I said, when you got it, you got it.
There you go.
That's from years of watching Rick Nash and all those Canadians play basketball, the Raptors. And the Grizzlies from Vancouver.
Well, you don't mean Rick Nash. You mean Steve Nash, right?
Steve.
Right. Yeah.
We'll get it.
I taught myself to juggle once upon a time.
Did you?
When I was working at this miniature golf course in Royal Oak. It was the putt golf course on Campbell Road, and so that was part of on slow nights. If the weather was bad, you had nothing else to do. There was no internet. This is 1,000 years ago. And so I taught myself to juggle. And so I became fairly adept at juggling 3 balls, and no one could watch that without saying, "Do 4." No one is satisfied with what you can do. They always want you to do something more than you're
What about
capable
2?
of doing. Yeah. So, yeah, I can do 2 with one hand, or at least I could back in the day. I've been asked to do it by my granddaughter, and that skill has slipped away from me, I guess, among many other skills.
Did you ever have to, as a young Jonathan Keating, did you ever have to kick somebody off the mini golf course? Like they're just acting up and they're getting rowdy. You had to get them off there.
Yeah, I mean, and so well, this is a rabbit hole. I'm not sure we want to go down, but it was really my broadcasting beginnings, because that was when I talked into a microphone in front of a bunch of people,
At the
and so
golf
you're
course?
making announcements at the golf course, and so you're
Yeah.
talking over the PA system and making announcements, and you know, and ultimately it was a way of flirting with a girl to
Yeah.
try to get her to notice you, because you would sort of embarrass her if she came up to the last hole, because if she got a hole in one, everybody would get a free pass, and that became a big thing. And so, and the girls would giggle, and
What was that place called again?
putt-putt.
What was it
Yeah.
called? Just putt-putt?
Just putt-putt, yeah. And that was a chain of those places,
That
and
could be a
beyond
shirt I
that,
wore on putt-putt.
there you
Your
go,
shirt.
yeah. There actually was a tour of
Mhm.
putt-putt players who would go around the country and
Yeah.
play at various
I
putt-putt
know, it's
courses
getting
for,
big again.
thousands of bucks, yeah,
Tiger Woods
so
has those new little putt-putt courses that are just going through the roof right now.
yeah, Top
Like,
Golf has
like
sort of led to all those where you get, some drinking and all that kind of
Vulcans
stuff, so.
evolve. Well,
All right, one more before we bring Herman Moore in here. What was the worst date you've ever experienced? Back before Jenna. Jenna was sensational when we had her on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, but back before Jenna, what was the worst date you ever experienced?
I mean, you guys, remember, to take into account, I'm in Medicine, Alberta in like 85, 86. And Loverboy is great. And so is Boston, the 2 bands that played then. So you're dancing to slow music, just hoping, to get a peck on the cheek from some girl back then. But our movies would never come out. In the States, you guys, whether it be, I'll use it, Indiana Jones would come out. We'd have to wait like 3 or 4 months till we'd even get it, or 5 months. I mean, my main goal in life then was to go to Toys R Us in the US and to see a movie, Star Wars, on time. And so if I got to go on any type of date to any of those places, that was a big deal.
If I shared the Elton John story here in downtown
No,
Detroit?
never. And I love Elton John. I do.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'll skip through it. I mean, there was more drinking than there should have happened on the
No.
way down. Yes, and so, and so the tickets. I knew somebody who knew somebody, and so I got these tickets and sold two of them to my best pal, and so we went to we went in his car down to this place, so and it was. And I'll date myself here. This was at old Olympia Stadium. That's
Nice.
how long ago it was. Fast forward at various points, John went over the edge, and so I at some point they sat me next to a cop, and then at some point,
Really? You were so bad you had to sit next to a police officer.
I was, but I wandered back to the seats, and at some point, I got sick on the people who happened to be sitting in front of me in this concert. But the real kicker is that on the way home in the back seat, I became very disappointed that the very nice girl that I took to this concert wouldn't make out with me on the way home. So it's like I've just puked. It's like she won't make out with me on the way home. Fast forward 1,000 years, and so that very nice young woman's kids happen to be coming to a Tiger game.
No. Yes.
And share with me who their mom is.
So,
and I just said,
her side of the story, I hope. Her side of the story.
I said, please tell me you haven't heard the Elton John story. They were very nice. And they said, oh yeah, we've heard the Elton John story with the guy who's on TV. No, we don't need to get her.
We could have a show, Random Stories of John Keating, from whoever it is, like your neighbor in Grand Rapids, like somebody in Like,
Oh
if she
my
could get on
goodness.
and tell that story, it'd be unbelievable.
I
Like,
know.
so
Oh my
you have
goodness.
in all likelihood, you have throw up on the front of your shirt because there's no way you miss yourself when you're throwing up. There's always a little bit. You have breath.
I was gonna leave the story right there. You want more detail
You
than
may as
that?
well have eaten oysters or whatever
Oh my god.
fish your breath
Oh,
would have
stop.
been bad.
Oh my gosh.
And you probably had wiped your face down for a bit. So now you got on your hands, on your shirt, and you smell like an old garbage can. And you want to make out with
Oh.
I wonder why she said no.
Yeah. She said no. And it was the right decision, I
I
think.
would love to get her on here.
Oh
What
my
would that be
gosh.
great to hear?
Oh my gosh. Let's step aside. The great Herman Moore will join us on Ozzy and Keats. All right, and there he is, the former wide receiving great for the Detroit Lions. Herman Moore is one of our favorite people, and he joins us from his home, I think. I mean, Michigan is your permanent residence now, right, these days?
It is. I decided to never leave. 91, I came in and it was such a beautiful place. Virginia still rivals it. So don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. The weather's a little bit better there, but Michigan's been wonderful.
All right, we'll get to the Lions' success, over the last couple of years in just a bit. But when you came in and the Lions were playing at the Pontiac Silverdome, what were those days like as you guys were trying to build some momentum?
Oh my goodness. I didn't know what to expect actually when I came in. I had to kind of rely on the fans and just kind of how they brought me in and they booed me a little bit because I dropped a couple passes early. But nonetheless, you know what? It was always great. I have to admit, it's always been great. The fans have been fantastic and very consistent. They're very passionate about their sports.
The story that I saw, Ozzy, I'll get you in here in a second, but was that you neglected to tell the Lions that you had worn contact lenses. Is that story correct?
It was so much. I wore my glasses, and then they wanted me to put the contacts in. But you got to imagine, every time you're hitting the ground and you get dirt or sand, you have to literally come out because you can't. You got to take them out. You got to clean
Sure.
them and all that. So I decided
Yeah.
not to wear them. And I used to have my big glasses on, so I wasn't going to do the Eric Dickerson, with the goggles and all that stuff. And I thought I could get away with it, and it didn't pan out so well.
No. How has the receiver position changed from when you played till nowadays? Is it less physical, more physical? Probably when you played, I would have to imagine.
Oh wow, gosh, it's two-hand touch now compared to that. It,
Yeah.
it was it was a lot of head hunting. It was a
Oh,
lot of low shots, blind side shots when you go over the middle. It was called the no man's land and territory for a reason because that's where your safeties, man, would just unload. Um, and it's different now. I love seeing the fact that they protect their players, but it was definitely the game today. I think the athletes are definitely athletic and they have some really good skill sets, but the game itself is definitely not as physical over the middle and for the receiver unit as it used to be.
I ask every former athlete this question, the hockey players, and I've asked Ozzy this question as well. W- w- what challenges physically have you had in your post playing days? I mean, how grumpy are the bones when you get out of bed in the morning?
I just think I'm just because I am a happy type person most of the time.
yeah.
Uh, I didn't turn into one of those grumpy guys. My bones, they you can hear me coming. I'll just say that because they pop, they creak, and so if I try and walk around the house kind of quietly, but it doesn't work because you can hear me coming whether I want you to know I'm trying to be silent or not. But
Yeah.
physically, I
Have
feel
we
great
re-
now.
have we replaced have we replaced knees or hips or any of that kind of stuff?
No, thankfully, I haven't had any joint
Wow.
replacements or anything like that. But you
Good
know
for
what?
you.
Most people, I show my hands. Like if you want to see a
Yeah.
real guy, I've had dislocations on all toes, all fingers, my
Oh,
shoulders. So yeah, I've gone through the trenches.
what's the worst injury Herman Moore has played with?
Probably my shoulder. The
Oh,
dislocations I thought would be the most difficult because I'm a hands catcher. So anyone who
yeah.
knows me, I'm really known for not trapping the ball in my body. But it was really my when I dislocated my shoulders or my collarbone because it's hard to raise your hand above your head, and for me, that gives an advantage back to the defensive backs when I can't extend my arms or I can't raise my hands high above my head. And I would say that, and then, your hamstring injuries and stuff like that, because that limits your ability to be effective, in your speed and your cuts and doing all those normal things. So just anything in my legs or my shoulders or arms were probably the most difficult.
It's made me sad to drive past I-75 and M-59 and
Oh,
look over to where the Silverdome used to be, and see that it's not there anymore. What are your best and worst memories of that building in your experience with the
oh,
Lions?
oh man, Keats, you're coming hard to paint right now, man. Listen, you know what I used to love? One, that it wasn't like the city. So most of us lived in the Oakland County area. So getting to and from the stadium, it's 10-minute drive at best. And because we had to be there early, we were there before traffic. But coming into there, I mean, I go to Ford Field all the time, but it's nothing like coming into hostile territory and the fans are you're coming through their tailgating party. And your buses have to pull in, and all the fans are there cheering you on, or booing you, depending on if you're on a road game. So that was the most exciting because that was the one that set the tone. You knew the
Yeah,
fans were ready, so
yeah.
you had to come ready, and that was probably my best memory. But I would say the other one outside of that was just locker room. I mean, it's just metal chairs. You had like just a regular cage. They got the mahogany wood and their nameplates and lights, and they got adapters for their phone and their digital devices. They got plush chairs, and no, we had one stool, and maybe your cushion on your seat was worn out, and if it was, you just pull it off and it's just all metal. And then you had like a cage behind you, and then a little alcove at the top where you just put stuff, and that was it. And then you threw your shoes underneath your bench. But the amenities were nothing to write home about.
I can remember being on the turf though at the Silverdome,
Oh,
Oh,
which I couldn't imagine doing what you do based on just walking onto that turf, and that was probably true at every turfed stadium back then. How tough could that be on a football player to play in that circumstance?
hey, Ozzy, I'll tell Ozzy like this. Listen, man, it's like taking that ice and just laying a carpet down on top of it. You know it wasn't gonna
yeah.
give, and every time you hit it, that's it. Like, you didn't wanna really die for a pass, but you had to, and you definitely didn't want one tackling you and then upending you going head first down because that was a concussion waiting to happen. So it was the turf, and the turf
Oh my
burn
God.
was real.
Oh, that'd be horrible. Who is the best throwing quarterback you played with?
Ooh. If I had to pick 2, man, the easiest pass to catch was definitely Scott Mitchell, and I know a lot of people are gonna
Wow.
listen to this, and it's gonna make their heads explode,
Some
but
great
listen,
oh,
he
he
was
was
a
great.
lefty, and he threw an
Mhm.
absolutely great pass. Eric Kramer would be a very close second, but I only played with Eric for a short period of time, but Scott,
Mhm.
um, just threw the perfect pass, man, and a lot of people may disagree with that, but so what? I got the stats to prove that he threw a pretty good pass.
You were there. You lived it.
Yeah. We got a kick at looking back at the quarterbacks with whom you play. There was
Uh-oh.
Rodney Peete, there was Scott Mitchell, there was Dave Craig, there was Don Mikowski for a time, and then Charlie Batch at the end with Frank Reich and Gus Frerotte for a minute as well in your last days with the Lions.
Let me throw a couple things at you.
All
When I
right.
came in, here are my quarterbacks. Amon St. Brown likes to name the guys that were picked ahead of him. So I like to sometimes pick just the guys that threw me passes in general. So I had Eric Kramer, Chuck Long, Rodney Peete, Andre Ware, caught from all of
Mhm.
them. Then there was Scott Mitchell, Gus Frerotte. Many
Yeah.
people won't remember Kent Graham. Um,
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
Stoney Case. There was Mike McMahon, Charlie Batch. Um,
Well,
you mentioned Frank Reich, Dave Craig, Don Mikowski. Let's see, Matt Blunden, who was a teammate of mine in college.
Wow.
yeah.
Um, I can't remember if Gino Toretta or Ty Detmer threw me passes, but they were definitely there. Harbaugh was there just for a brief moment.
Yeah.
Um, I'm pretty sure I apologize to any of the quarterbacks I'm leaving out, but
That's
there were
great.
some others that
That's
are in there.
great.
So there you go.
All right, give me a quick Barry Sanders story. Just
Mhm.
having had the chance to watch him work his magic. What was that like for a guy who was also an All Pro along with him to see what he was able to do that almost no one in football history managed to do?
Actually go into the end zone and never spike the ball. That is probably the biggest thing that I've ever that's an amazing accomplishment because it is hard to get touchdowns. I mean, it's sometimes you get those easy ones, but to repeatedly have a target on your back and get a touchdown and never spike it, I mean, I'm impressed with the runs and all that stuff. That's cool, whatever.
Mhm.
But it's the fact that he never celebrated. Like, how do you not celebrate
Yeah.
like making something good happen? A lot of people say, you celebrate only if you feel like you're never gonna be there again and all this and act like you've been there. I don't believe in that. Listen, this is an entertainment sport. But
Mhm.
my best Barry story would be um, there's 2 things. One, I never got to see his best runs live because I was always blocking. So I always had to wait and
Oh,
watch him
Yeah.
on film. And then
yeah.
that's when I could actually comment on what happened. And in the Silverdome, we didn't always have the playback. So, you'd have to wait the next day or catch it on the highlights. And that was one interesting story. The other one was anytime there was a pile, if you go look at all the plays when he made these spectacular runs, I was one of the guys looking going, "Which way did he go?" Like, I'm standing over piles and he's behind me breaking a tackle with 3 guys, and I'm like, "Where's Barry?" And so I hate those highlights when they show that because I'm either really not looking like I'm doing a whole lot, but I was in the way, right? So I should get some accolades for that.
Well, maybe, and maybe this is the first time it's said out loud, that Barry Sanders only is Barry Sanders, only has the career he did because Herman
Yeah,
Moore was blocking
yeah,
for him.
absolutely.
That's why Barry
Absolutely.
Sanders became Barry Sanders.
Give me at least 5,000 of those yards back on the blocking, and then we'll see where he ends up at that point. So it's you gotta give something to the receivers. It was I have to say this to you guys, man, when you have a guy like Barry, it's like it's like being a point guard. You wanna pass him the ball, right? You wanna see that person score. It's like, making sure you get the ball in the hands or the the actual opportunity to those key players. And Barry was a guy that we prided ourselves as receivers blocking because we knew how special he was if given the opportunity to have support around him and vice versa. So it cut both ways. Yes, he had a lot of targets on him, but I think as receivers, we did a great job of making teams pay attention to us, which made his life a little bit easier at times as well. So that's when you have that perfect balance, like we're seeing with the Lions today.
That's cool. I love those stories when players tell the actual events when they play. Herman, how was because how was Wayne Fonts as a coach, as a person? Because he always made me laugh his interviews and whenever I saw him. I mean, was he like that as a coach or person as well?
Coach Font's very personable.
Hmm.
He was definitely they call him a player's coach, but he was accountability coach. Like
Mhm.
he was a player's coach because he put it on us to get it done. He couldn't catch a pass for us. He couldn't make a block, he couldn't make a run. All he could do was assemble the team, get his coaches, work with his staff to pick the right players. And then from there, the rest is fun. His job is just to make sure that we stay disciplined and accountable. And I think if you look at a guy like, and I don't want to keep going back and forth between past and current, but Coach Campbell has been that one that epitomizes that. He's just doing it a different way. He's more or less what I see, and a lot of people may not see the similarities, but he's in the trenches with his players. Coach Fonts was the same way. He expects his players to go out and deliver. If you're the top guy, he expects you to play like the top guy, the top dog. And if we don't, then he holds the accountability there for us. So Wayne was a great coach for us. It was sad to see when he left, and I think we went through a real tough period of trying to find identity after that as a team. And ultimately, you could see it starting to go better. When Coach Caldwell came in, Coach Schwartz, and then all of a sudden you had one blip and then you find a guy like Matt Millen. I'm not Matt Millen. I lost my mind there. You find a guy like Coach Campbell,
Chris Spielman? Yeah. Oh, Dan Campbell, sure.
Coach Campbell, who comes in and he really changes the whole thing. So it's Wayne was a great guy, and I know you'd asked briefly about a story, but one quick story. We used to always have to stay at the hotels, and some of the guys who were the veteran guys, he would sometimes let you go home you know, if you wanted to go home and sleep in your own beds instead of staying at the hotel because, I mean, you know what you have to do. And early on in my career, we would call ourselves sneaking out, and you'd pass coaches coming and going too. So it was kind of a funny thing because we're all like, "You didn't see me, I didn't see you." Everybody's on their way. So I let the cat out the bag, everybody. There you go.
There you go. The coaches and the players were coming and going around the hotel. What did it mean to you to be singled out as a member of the Lions Ring of Honor? The pride that is attached to being included in that group as one of the greatest Lions players ever.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I come from a place after, high school and then ultimately being refined a little bit more at the University of Virginia. There was a standard of excellence that was expected when I came out of college. And because that was already the foundation that had been set, making that be the mantra and kind of the fabric when I joined the Lions, I wanted to carry that throughout. Yeah, am I going to have some failures? Yes, but how I respond to those and how I react are going to be that. Am I going to be a consummate professional and team member? That I want to check that box. And would I be respectful to our community and to our fans? And once you can check those boxes, your career is your career. The accolades, I did what I was supposed to do, what I was given the opportunity to do. I was blessed to be able to have postseason accolades and for the members around the media and those to acknowledge that. But more importantly, when a team acknowledges that and say, you know what, you're forever going to be remembered as one of our
Mm,
all-time greats,
Sure.
yeah.
is one of the biggest, obviously the biggest thing that they can bestow on a player. So I was very excited to see that, not just for me, but for my teammates, because anyone's in a team sport. I don't care how great you are. I don't care what your name is. Your team helped you get there, and they helped you stand out above everything else.
It's always fascinating to find out what players do after having a very, very successful professional career. What path did you take? Because you're involved in many, many things from business. Share with people what became of you after you were done playing football.
Well, if I were living in this day and age and I was making $30 million a game, I probably would be sitting down, traveling and doing few different things that I'm doing now. But I decided to go the entrepreneurial journey, and I did that because it's the competitiveness in me, and I always look for legacy. I have my football legacy, but I also want to do something that didn't necessarily involve the athletic ability. It's taking advantage of what the University of Virginia provided me, what the people who have supported me throughout my life have provided me and mentored me along the way. And that was getting into business. So now I'm into manufacturing, mainly in the personal care space. So your laundry, detergents, a lot of your major brands that you'll see on Amazon and in the marketplace, we're actually producing those right here in Michigan
Wow.
in Warren,
Okay.
Michigan. Also, print on demand is a big business that we're in as well for working with high schools and nonprofit organizations. Experiential marketing and branding, and then technology. We're big in the AI space and working within business efficiencies as well as working with sports analytics and statistics and things of that nature. So there's a wide variety of businesses, but they all work together. It's our own ecosystem, and we're a vertically integrated company. So a lot of things that we provide, even shipping and logistics, I forgot about that. Those are all things that make us whole, but
Wow.
they're all individual companies. So it's a conglomerate of companies that I own, and it allows me to be relevant in most conversations. I'll say that.
Can't the AI stuff make your head hurt though?
It can. I actually just did a keynote at a conference on AI with a lot of um, information technology and computer scientists, um, people. And, it can be, but it's a multiplier. So if you are good at what you do, it can actually be a great asset to where you don't have to cause people to lose their jobs. You just make your team and your staff and your team members more efficient, but also multiplying their skill sets and their ability. It's not to be feared. It's to be feared when it's used nefariously by people, which is going to happen no matter what happens with technology. But I think there's some great things that can come out of it. But right now it needs to, kind of it needs to get under wraps a little bit because it's some things out there that can be definitely used in a very negative way.
Nefarious is also the word we use to describe Chris Osgood, but that's a whole
Yeah.
nother
Well,
topic for a
he
whole
did a
nother
great job
discussion.
of making you and I look bad too.
Yeah, I know, I know. But I remember when you and I were doing some high school football together on television back in the day. I remember just hearing that Herman loves to drive. Herman doesn't want to. He doesn't want to get on the bus. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need help getting, because Herman loves to just get in the car and drive and have. And I would guess you would hold meetings while you were driving. I mean, all across the state of Michigan, right? To
Great time.
to northern Michigan and back. Tell me about that.
So if I my thing is, if I'm under probably 9-10 hours, I will drive. Anything over that probably means I'm going across water, or I'm having to go somewhere that's going to be a little bit more difficult. But normally, I love to drive, take my time. I catch up with people I haven't had a chance because of the hustle and bustle of business. It gives me some good windshield time to be able to catch up on that. But also, it's a great time to be within your own thoughts, and I find that I am able to reflect in a very quiet, calm way, because it's typically me driving by myself. And then, I'm able to really just, just calm. I love peace. I love serenity, and I'm very subliminal. So I just don't like having chaos around
Yeah.
me all the time. And I enjoy looking at the different places in Michigan. I'll stop in some of the really small towns. So I travel all over the state and see some areas and some bedroom communities that I otherwise wouldn't see. And that's been enlightening in all the people I've met along the way.
Ozzy loves that too, right? You're back and forth to Western Canada, and you love that drive.
I love small towns, simple living, and peacefulness. Those three things are key in life. Love it. And we used to live chaotic life, so maybe there's something to that afterwards. So it's a good change.
Hey, I have to tell you this, Ozzy. It's like
Yeah.
I one day I'm gonna do this, and John, I mean this. I've been on skates. I'm
Yeah.
from throwback era where you had to
Oh,
have four wheels, but I've never put the blades on, man. I've walked out on the ice. I've done some things
Yeah.
like that, but man, I got to get out there and
You got it.
I just want to try it one time, just once. I've never done it, so if you're ever out there and you're just saying, "Hey, I need somebody to come hang out," I'm with you.
They'd love to have you down there at the LCA for sure. They're doing pretty good now, better than they have in years, so they'd be excited to have you for sure. That would be
yeah.
easy. Now the
Okay.
skating wouldn't be the easy part. You hold on to the boards
Yeah.
tight,
Well, I
wheel
don't want
around the
anybody
ice.
around. I don't want anybody around when I'm
No.
doing it though.
Okay. All right. Just give it a go. You'll
Yeah.
probably be better than you think. You'll do just perfectly fine.
Yeah, professional athlete, you got
Professional-
that. You
You're a
got that.
professional athlete.
Well, yeah, I guess I
Hey,
gotta hold on to that.
yeah, you're one of our favorites. It's great to
Yep.
see your face, and we can't be prouder of you than for all the accomplishments that you've made on the football field and beyond. It's been my joy to get to know you over the years, and thanks for your time here, Herman. We appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. Thank you both for having me.
All right, the great Herman Moore, Ozzy and Keats rolls on in a second. All right, great to visit with Herman Moore. I know hockey is your favorite sport. Um, what are your top four, top five sports that you follow most avidly?
Hockey, obviously, football, then baseball, and then golf. I would say those four.
Not a basketball guy?
No, I don't mind it. You know what?
Even though you just told us that you won some
Yeah.
horse match that still is stuck
You
in
know what I
your
really like? That
your Rolodex of memories.
I'm a fair weather basketball fan, but when the Pistons had that really cool team and they won the championship that year, was it
Yeah, right.
2008 or what is that? Am I right? They
Uh,
had Ben Wallace, right? They had all
yeah, Ben Wallace and Chauncey and Rip
Chauncey
Hamilton and
had a
Rasheed Wallace. Yeah,
really really good team, and yeah, I enjoyed watching that the whole time. So I'll watch. I'm more of a fair weather NBA fan. I'll watch some college basketball for sure, but I like football secondary, and I dipped my toe in football a little bit. I was a receiver / backup quarterback in junior high. Helmet was a little big, and when you weigh 140 pounds, yeah, football is not really conducive to your body size. So I didn't last very long. The Medicine Mohawks was the team's name.
and as you've grown into your TV role, it's impossible for the helmet to be a little big because your head has grown and grown and grown. You walk into the room
Yes.
knowing you're a really big deal.
It has. It started ever since I had the opportunity to go on Carson Daly, was it? And Jay Leno. My head has gotten excruciatingly big. thinking I'm big time.
Well, wait. It was Jay Leno, right?
Yeah,
With
and
Nick Lidstrom.
when Carson Daly,
Yeah.
who wasn't he on? Oh, God, it would be MTV. Was he on? Am I right? Hosting some show?
He was on MTV, but he also did like a late night show on
Yeah,
NBC
that's
too.
what I was
Yeah.
on, Late Show.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the year before, when Anaheim won it, Chris Pronger drank out of the cup on TV. They really drank out of it for real, and they were reprimanded, so we weren't allowed to drink out of it the next time we went on there.
Wait, are there rules against drinking out of the cup, or
No,
just not
well,
in
because
that
it's live
setting?
TV, there's not rules against drinking out of it. You can drink out of it wherever and whatever. And but live TV that didn't go over.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a quick story about that. I was
But you're drinking again. Okay.
I was working in TV in Denver. This is I'm covering the minor league baseball team had a what they call the business person special that was at 11:30 on Wednesday morning. So we went there and did a feature and behind the scenes and interviewed some people and had some laughs and all of that. And at the end of the piece, I looked at the camera and took a sip and the news director liked me a lot and liked my sense of humor, and she pulled me aside and she just said, I don't think we're going to get in any trouble for this, but there are rules against drinking on television that you just broke with your little cheers to the camera that you shouldn't have done. So
Gentleman's dinner. Is that gentleman's dinner or lunch?
the business person special was that's what it was. But yeah.
Oh
so.
my God.
I know. It's one of the many rules that are broken on television over the years, and chief among them is working with you, because no one. I feel so bad for Daniela and Logan Reaver going through this. I mean, no one really should be subjected to working on TV with you.
How many years? Somebody asked me the other day how many years we did it. And I didn't even know. Like, was it 10? Was it that?
It was long? 10. It was 10. Yeah. It was. Well, the correct answer is too long.
So longer, almost as long as Cheers, longer in Family Ties, not as long as Smash, but longer than Different Strokes. So we're just okay.
And not as successful as any of those.
No,
to be honest. So
10 years. Wow.
I know.
And when the person asked me, I was like, I really didn't know. I was kind of like, wow, and it went so fast. Really did.
Did it? Did it though? Did it really?
Yeah. I wish you could show the first show that we did and then watch the last show. You see the difference.
Well, and it's interesting because on social media, all the memories of our time together pop up. And in fact, one did today, the picture that you and I took 9 years ago on this date. It's frightening. I had, sort of flashbacks in dealing with that. But it was just a picture of us on the set promoting the fact that you and I were back together doing Red Wings Live.
When I first had that tie on and you could barely get to your reads and you didn't know I was kind of hiding. I had to I'm on there
kind of hiding. You're like kind of hiding. It's like what's going on? He's turned his back to me
I turned on and you saw the tie in the camera. You just lost.
My God.
You couldn't even get to your sayings. I mean, I could tell the stories another day when we'd have their special guests on when you gravitated to the middle of this freaking desk for no reason. But that's another.
Well, we have to. We're going to have to auction the ties off. I mean, we should probably make that announcement on a future Ozzy and Keats podcast. Present them, all the ties that you have had made. I had a few of them made in response to yours, and we'll auction them off, maybe to the Jamie Daniels Foundation or somebody like that.
I could show all the ties and why I got them and when I got them and the theme behind them.
Gold. Just gold.
It really, my favorite one is the where you're laying on your side drinking a drink by the pool. That's my favorite. And I don't know how I got that picture. Why? I think it might have been our famous our cameraman and friend Kevin Gerlewski. I think I got it.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
People on the inside to get you where you got to get.
I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but the ties went organically too. I don't even know if I was to look back on why I did it. I don't even know why. It was just like I was online one night. I probably had a few beers, and back then, and was like, what would be funny if I did this? And I see these personalized clothing things, and I had ties. Next thing you know, your head was on it. And I remember I put it on there, and I put it on my phone, and I could see your head on the tie, and it was kind of on like a guy. Oh my, I was crying laughing, and I had to do it. And when I got it, I remember it was like I was a little kid at Christmas all over again. It came in the mail. I was open. Oh my God, Jenna, you got to see this. I showed Jenna. It was the best thing I thought in the world. I could not wait to wear it. But of course, I
All right.
can't tie a tie, so I had to get somebody to like
Oh
two
my
things in
gosh,
life I
I
can't
know.
do: drive a standard, which hopefully one day I won't have to, and I got to learn how to tie a tie. I
Yes,
got
you
to do
do.
that.
Yes, you do. Two quick stories. One was that I tried to do that, and it got rejected because your face was copyrighted by and I didn't have the authority to have your face on my necktie. And the second was when I had your face put on sweatpants, and our friend
Oh,
Johnny Kane
Johnny
modeled them. Johnny
elegantly
Kane modeled the sweatpants with Chris Osgood's
in a
face all
grassy
over them.
field. In a grassy
Yes.
field.
Well, that was
It was like a DoorDash
in the
commercial.
park next to his house. And I gave the pants to your wife, and hopefully she wears them on a regular basis around the house. That's
like-
between you and she, however.
I know.
so-
I had a line for that, but I can't say it.
I know. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for listening and watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Ozzy and Keats.
Ozzy and Keats is produced by Zachary Davis and Bill McAllister and proudly distributed by Podcast Nation in Troy, Michigan.